Guys, what is up? Welcome to this video. We're going to be looking at post week 7 players that we're panicked about, whether we should be panicked about them, what we should do with them, whether we should trade them, hold them. We're going to go ahead and start this video off, guys, with our boy Calvin Ridley. Pour one out for the homie, dude. This Calvin Ridley has kind of blue balled a lot of fantasy managers. After week 1, obviously, he popped off, went 8 for 101 and a touchdown against the Colts. Looked like a bona fide wide receiver 1. Looked like one of the steals of the draft if you happen to get him, anywhere after like the second or third round. Since then, dude, he's become essentially unstartable, I would say. Aside from week 5 against Buffalo on like a random, Sunday morning in London, he has really been unplayable. You're better off playing random fringe dudes who you can find off the waiver wire at this point because Calvin really just not getting the work. He's not getting the targets. He's not getting like plays called for him. He's not getting schemed open. He's really just running like deep routes for the Jags. And if he's getting shadow coverage, he's obviously just not going to get the ball, right? Like the Jags are fully happy to run the ball. They have one of the lower touchdown rates in the NFL in terms of passing touchdowns. And Christian Kirk is really just like that dude, man. He's just that yards after catch guy. He plays out of the slot mostly, so he tends to be getting open in like very positive matchups. So Calvin Ridley's someone that I'm super fucking nervous about. I made a video not too long ago that he's a buy low candidate because, obviously sentiment has been low and it's even lower than it was then. So I would still, I guess technically he's still a buy low candidate, but because he can only go up from here, right? Like one catch for 5 yards. I think Bijan Robinson, who didn't even play this week, had a better stat line, right? And he had a flu game. He had a Michael Jordan flu game, right? So like, I don't know what to do with Calvin Ridley, man. I'm honestly stumped. I bought him, so I don't even want to tell you guys, dude. But I traded Davante for Calvin Ridley like in week 4, or after week 3. So week 4 and 5, I was feeling pretty okay, 10 and 17 points. But since then, man, huge buyer's remorse because when Davante comes back, he could be a league winner. But anyway, Calvin Ridley's a guy that I think you could potentially buy him, but because I think he will see some regression, dude. He's going to regress in some way. Like, I think he could be like a top 30 wide receiver moving forward, but I'm not very confident about that. And he's a guy that I don't think is going to win you any weeks. I really don't think so. I think he's going to be like a worse Gabe Davis moving forward. So that's somebody I'm panicked about, man. Number 2 on the list is going to be Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones, I was debating whether I should include him in this list, and I figured I will for a couple of reasons. So he is a 28-year-old running back coming off of a hamstring injury, re-injured it like in week 5, sat through the bye, came back in week 7, and was decently involved, actually. Honestly, Aaron Jones, 7 points from Aaron Jones with the low amount of workload that he got. You could be more upset with other players for sure. But the reason I'm a little bit worried about Aaron Jones is because of the Packers offense. It's an offense where everybody eats, dude. It's the soup kitchen. It's hometown buffet, dude. Kids eat free. Everybody's eating on the Packers. And right now, like, you're getting a lot of production from a lot of different people. But the Packers offense is they're one of those teams that they just tend to stagnate at times. And they're not like a high-powered offense. Now, Jordan Love has one of the higher ADOTs in the league. One of the lowest completion percentages. I don't know if that's a consequence of the high ADOT or if it's just he's an inaccurate quarterback, but drives tend to stall because of Jordan Love's inaccuracy. And I think with Aaron Jones, he's a guy that he's going to get you big weeks moving forward. Like, I think next week against Minnesota is going to be a strong week, but I think this week against Denver should have been a strong week. Like, everybody has been using Denver as kind of a punching bag this season. And the fact that, Packers couldn't do it. Neither could the Chiefs the week before. So maybe there's something there. Maybe the Broncos have turned a corner. Maybe they found, they found a second wind, but we don't know. And I'm just slightly concerned about Aaron Jones. I do think he's going to get enough work to be formidable. I think he's the type of player that he doesn't need like volume to be good, right? So those are my thoughts. And, kind of the same sentiment applies to Christian Watson. I just think a lot of people drafted Christian Watson as like a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside, and he's really just not fulfilling on that. Obviously, he was injured the first 3 weeks, so you're sad about that. And then when he did come back, he just hasn't really been that involved, right? Like, low completion percentage. Again, is that because of Jordan Love's inaccuracy, or is that I don't know, like his A dot, you would think it would be pretty strong as like kind of a deep threat speedster type guy, but they're not really giving him a chance to do much like after the catch the way they were with Aaron Rodgers last year. And he seemed to have tweaked something at the end. It seems he injured his knee on that final drive. And I'd be a little bit nervous, man. I feel like he's not going to return, on the hopes that he could propel himself into like wide receiver one status. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and I'm just worried about like the Packers as a whole. So moving on to the next guy, this one's a little bit controversial, but it's Davante Adams. So Davante Adams, to put it simply, is just on a shit team. The Raiders are just dog water. They're garbage. They just lost to the Bears, who are honestly like a lottery contender. So that's pretty much the only reason why I'm anti Davante Adams. I think he gets double covered way too much, and he's not on a team that can kind of force feed him, or he can produce through the double coverage. Now in week 3, obviously he popped the fuck off, right? 35 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, 172 yards, 20 targets, like popped off. Don't get me wrong, he could do that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo presents the best prospect for him to actually produce. And until Garoppolo comes back, I think it's just going to be brutal for him. But the reason I have him on like this panic list, because I do think you'd still sell him for quite a lot. I do think you can like package Davante plus like a middling, running back 2, and you can maybe upgrade to like an AJ Brown and then downgrade at the RB or something. Like, I don't know if the AJ Brown owners are going to be selling right now. Maybe the Cup owner might after like a down week, but you could potentially still move him off the name value. I think Cup would be an interesting target for me if I had Davante. I think he's like, think of it from this way. Let's reverse engineer it. If you had Cup, which wide receivers would you accept in some type of package deal? Like, to me, it's Davante, it's like Amon-Ra, it's Chase, it's obviously AJ Brown if possible. It's like those upper echelon, like top 10 wide receivers are the only types of guys you'd accept, right? You'd maybe move down a tier, but improve at running back. So Cup is one of those dudes that I'd kind of be targeting, maybe even Amon-Ra St. Brown. Being an Amon-Ra St. Brown owner, I used to be one, is a little bit like, he gets the work, he gets the targets, but he doesn't get that many touchdowns, and you just get this feeling like it can end at any point. Like, he's just been too hot and too consistent. So he's a guy that potentially Amon-Ra St. Brown owners might be like, you know what, let me cash these chips in, let me cash out, head over, get my cash, head to the strip club, start, blowing all the money, blowing the $33 that I won on the blackjack table. Let's just cash these chips in. So Amon-Ra St. Brown may be a guy that you can go after. And then Cup on the other side of the coin, just had a down week, so play off of the acute emotions that a lot of fantasy owners have. And the last guy on our list, guys, is going to be Bijan Robinson. So Bijan's a guy where I don't think I'd be too concerned about him season long, but I do think like if we paint this entire picture of like his entire season, how it's gone so far, I think you can be a little bit let down by what you're getting, right? I mean, most people draft him as like a top 4 running back. Right, it was like CMC, it was Eckler, and then it was Bijan in most leagues. I mean, at least it was like that in my league. And I don't think he's returned on that. I think, like, as upset as people are with like a Derrick Henry, for example, I think Derrick Henry has at least gotten you like a couple of like potentially winning weeks, right? He got you like 24 points one week, 22 another week. Bijan hasn't cleared 20 fantasy points, and he's also splitting the backfield. And it looks like it looks like they might just be trying to use Cordero to kind of so that they can shop him at the trade deadline. I'm assuming that's what's going on here, but yeah, I don't know if I'd be too confident in Bijan. I just think because of the name value. So this is why I have him on like a panic list, on a potential sell list. Because of his name value, you can get like the world with Bijan right now, right? So if you can sell him high, I would think about it. I do think like let another manager deal with the Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson situation and just the decrepitness of the offense as a whole, right? Let someone else deal with it. If they get his pop-off weeks, which could be coming, I don't think they're going to come against Tennessee, right? I think they could come against Minnesota and Arizona for sure. But I think Tennessee, you might want to wait, sell him now or wait one more week if you're trying to buy him and wait till after this Tennessee game and then buy him. Because then you get that, juicy Minnesota and Arizona matchup. So those are my thoughts, man. These are guys that I'm slightly panicked about. As you can see, all the guys on this list are like dudes that are pretty much like universally started by most people. And I just wanted to present with you guys my thoughts on each one, what you should maybe be doing with them. Hope you guys like this video, man. Sorry I've been out for a little bit. Work got pretty crazy, got pretty busy, but I'm back, dude. We're gonna pump out some videos this week. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.